Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. We'll get started. Let's all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The tree house? Yeah, it's on the agenda. We got printed something.
So I'd like to let everyone know that item 4, 3327 Dogwood, has been postponed and won't be heard tonight. Item 7, 1781 South Gulfridge, has been postponed and will not be heard tonight. And item 10, 3390 Oak Grove, has also been postponed. So could we take attendance?
So noted.
And I would need a motion to approve the zoning board minutes
So moved.
of November 12th, 2024.
So moved.
Okay. And do I have a second?
Yes.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. I'd like to also let everyone know that our newly elected township supervisor, Mike McCready, is here with us. He's sitting in the back row and waving his hand. So it's a pleasure to have him here with us. So welcome to the Bloomfield Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for December 10th, 2014. As a brief introduction, the Zoning Board of Appeals is a 7-member quasi-judicial body appointed by the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees. Per the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, matters pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals are decided on a case-by-case basis. Any appeal of a decision made by the Zoning Board of Appeals is subject to circuit court review. Each case will be called separately in the order shown on tonight's agenda. There will be an opportunity for public comment at one point during each case. All persons wishing to comment will be asked to provide their name and address at the podium. Address your comments to the board and not the applicant or other members of the public. Given the number of appeals tonight, please make your comments brief. Comments by the Neighborhood Association will be considered as part of the factual information presented to the board, but those comments are not the determining factor for approval or denial. Please confine your comments to the specific request before the board. For a request to be successful, an affirmative vote of at least 4 members present is required. So typically we have 7 sitting here, and because of schedules and certain situations tonight, we only have 5 voting members, of which are going to need 4 votes. We hope this provides a better understanding of what you can expect at tonight's meeting. Thank you. We will now call the first case. So that is item 1T.
There's the already announced.
The applicant ready.
There's 3. He announced them.
Hello. My name is James Weiss with Great Lakes Custom Builder. I was here about 2 months ago for 5941 East Miller Way for an approval for a sports court in the rear property and a retaining wall on the north side of the property where the driveway abuts the property. We did take your advice and we moved the sport court 16.15 feet in from the side yard and the rear yard setback, and we also removed the retaining wall 8 foot in and lowered it to the proposed amount of the proposed height that you had requested, as well as installed arborvitaes along the side and the rear retaining wall.
So when you left the last zoning board meeting, what was your understanding of the status of the variance? Did you understand that it had not yet been granted and that you needed to come back?
I thought, and incorrectly, that if I conformed to the rules of moving the retaining wall in 8 foot to the corrected height, and that it would conform. And after finding out that it did conform, but I still needed approval from the board to have a accessory structure I reapplied. Well, I didn't have to reply, I had to resubmit and come back. But no, it was completely my misunderstanding. I thought that I would have to, if I didn't move the sport court in and kept it as we had originally proposed, then I would have to come back. But I thought that if I conformed with the ordinance of being a minimum of 8 foot off the side yard setback and rear yard setback, then I did not have to. But that was obviously wrong.
Okay, so at least your understanding is correct. Now, so we act as a body through formal motions that are approved. You didn't have that yet, so technically you don't have approval for this yet.
Correct.
And that's why you're here now.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if you do work in the township in the future, but just please keep that in mind.
100%.
Makes sense? Okay, so I'd like to open this up for public comment. Does anyone like to comment on this item? So I'll close public comment, bring it back to the board for discussion or a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Okay.
Okay, so with regard to the dimensional variance at 6895 Cedar Brook Drive for the,
Oh, wait a minute. So it's 5-9,
sorry,
Sorry, but 1T.
I apologize, I'm on the
That's
wrong
okay.
one.
that's okay.
1T, here we go.
1T.
With regard to the permission request and the dimensional variance at 5941 East Miller Way, I'm going to go with the permission request first, and for the sports court. I move that this accessory structure be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, as sports courts are quite common in the area. I'm going to also tag along here with the dimensional variance, that it be approved at the same address, that it be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the size of the lot. Additionally, there is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that this will be screened and it is properly oriented to the home on the lot. Further, unique circumstances with the property have been demonstrated due to the sloping topography, and this is not self-created. So if these motions are approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days for the existing sports court and the wall, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the sport court from public view for 12 months of the year. No illumination is permitted on the sports court, and use of the sports court is limited to daytime hours.
Support.
I have motion and support. Any discussion? So anything on your motion needs to be clear. Is there, there is some screening there, and you sort of reserve the right that, I wasn't quite clear on what you were saying about the screening. What was your intent with the screening?
That there should be screening required to screen the court from public view for 12 months of the year.
So do you understand?
So you are looking at the rear of the property then, so you'd like screening to occur along the rear?
What does the group here think? Face the golf course.
It looks like there is some room there for additional screening. I would say yes.
Okay, let's include it. Yes, in the back,
Okay.
please.
So do you understand that?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you see this view here?
Yes.
That's open. We'd like screening there.
Okay, on the rear?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to include that. Thank you.
On this side of the fence.
On the
Interior
property
fence.
side of the fence.
Yep.
Okay.
Property side of the fence, okay.
All right, we'll do that. Thank you.
All right. So thanks for that clarification. So we have a motion, support, and clarification. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. Your request
Thank you
is
very
granted.
much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So calling the next item, item 1P 6895 Cedar Brook.
1P.
Hello, good evening. I'm Michelle Leader. I'm the homeowner at 6895 Cedar Brook Drive, and I'm seeking approval for a existing wood pool fence that encroaches 16 feet into the northeasterly side 16-foot setback on the white pine side where you see that red line. I just want to give some background. So I bought this house in 2019. It was in terrible shape, and the house was built in 1960. It had a pool and a brick wall that is that yellow line. That was all existing from 1960, and it was in terrible, terrible condition. So I did a lot of renovation on the house. The brick wall, which was the pool fence, I left alone. It was still standing, but over the past 4 years, it's deteriorated a ton. So it was literally tipping over. When you would push on it, it was falling. It was about to fall down. It was dangerous. So that is why I took that down and put in the wood horizontal fence. And that, you're looking like you're confused.
No. I was just saying
There it is,
it's
yeah.
extremely impactful when you look at it. And my understanding is your intent is to screen that from public view. So just as we
Well,
had a
okay,
discussion.
yeah. The pool fence, the brick wall that was originally there was never screened. And it had been there since 1960. I think I did add some pictures of it there. Oh,
I have one I can show it.
yeah, let me see. I think I do.
Okay, I couldn't find it. I thought you had
But
shown it.
that was like wide open to the corner.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, those. Okay, so that's exactly, those will show.
Sorry.
Okay,
I gotta use this machine down here.
So I didn't actually intend on screening this whole entire fence because
The wall
design-
wasn't screened, so you're thinking it's
the wall wasn't, and I really was replacing in the exact same location what was there for the pool safety. I mean, I have to have an enclosure. So, and I did it in a design that I thought went well. You can see that railing on the deck of the house is the horizontal railing. That's existing too. That was there since the 60s. So basically, the new fence that's wood is pretty much that same height. The topography on the outside of that fence is very uneven. So you can measure it in some areas it's 52, and some it's 49, and some it's 55, you know, if you go all the way down that wall, the new fence. So
Okay, so
Yeah.
you've
That's-
answered the question.
Okay.
So let's take some public comments, see if there's any. Does anyone like to speak on this item? I'm going to open this to the public. So could you stand up and give your name and address?
My name is John Parks. I live at 6893 White Pine Drive. I'm across the street and I look out at Michelle's house. And we've been there for, I want to say 19 years. And the brick fence, as it was, the wall, was in, with no disrespect, was in really bad shape. It was bowing out. It was ready to fall. There were chunks that were falling out from it. And it was frankly, as the person who gets to look out every single day, I was incredibly pleased that she took it down. It was when we had those big storms earlier in the year of 2024, I was looking out there fully expecting to see a chunk of that brick wall had fallen. It was in atrocious shape. But now, the fact that you have put up the wood fence that you have, which is pretty much, again, as you had said, pretty much the exact same height, it looks amazingly better. We are incredibly pleased, my wife Melissa and I, we are incredibly pleased by what Michelle has done and the work that she has done, to shield it from, as a safety issue, but also, to protect the pool and to protect, I saw that it was listed as a dog fence, which is pretty strange. It's a pool fence, but anyway. Anyway, as a neighbor, I'm thrilled that she did what she did, and I couldn't be happier that it has been replaced. And I think it's an improvement to the neighborhood. It's an improvement for everyone who gets to drive by, and it certainly is great for us to be able to look out our window and see something that's been actually taken care of. She has done a remarkable job working on the house, bringing it back to the glory that I'm sure that it was at one time. And I wish I could say the same for a lot of the other houses on the street. But certainly that is a shining star for as far as I'm concerned. And when we tell people to, how to find our home, we're right across from that fence. So it is just for us, it is you can see where we are, 6893. So we are very pleased with the work that Michelle has done, is what I would say. No applause.
Thank you for your enthusiastic feedback. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak on this item?
Yes, I would.
Okay. You could give us your name and address?
My name is Bill Fry, and I live at 6883 Cedar Brook on the other side of Michelle's house. And since she moved into the house, she's taken a house that was really pretty run down and dilapidated in many ways because the previous owner couldn't keep it up. She was very elderly. And Michelle came in, and she has just renovated the house and made it look like a gem. And in particular, I got the fence on the north side of that house and it was dilapidated when I moved in 47 years ago. And the new fence looks a hell of a lot better. So I want to give a strong measure of support for everything that Michelle has done to improve that home and ours in the process too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak about the fence?
Melissa Parks, 6893 White Pine Drive. I'm John Parks' wife. We love the look of the fence, and that is our view. And the brick, we kind of had a joke. The bricks would actually fall off, and I would get spray paint and run over and spray paint it for her because it was getting to be, it was like every day a brick was falling off the wall. And so since this wood fence has gone up, it's beautiful. And I think she's intending to stain it. And so that'll even make it more beautiful. And it goes with the integrity of the house and the architecture. And so we're very happy with how it exists right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this? Okay, so I'll close public hearing, ask the applicant to come back. So maybe the staff could help me here. So we had a brick fence that looks like it was encroaching into the side yard setback.
Well, the variance is technically because it's located in a frontage,
Okay.
as well as I do believe that she indicated on her application or in our conversation that she has a dog.
yeah.
So we always have to include that as a dog enclosure.
Okay.
So the encroachments, so your question exactly is what? I may have jumped ahead, sorry.
So I just want to understand if it was sort of, because it isn't written up this way, this wasn't a non-conformity.
No.
Okay, so it
No.
wasn't something that came down that we're now replacing with a non-conforming. It's just
Correct.
a fence replacing a fence.
Absolutely.
All right. And then my question to you is, in the packet, there is a landscape plan that has proposed evergreen plantings to screen fence.
When I submitted it, she
Recommendation.
she recommended that I draw some of that in and said that they will want to see some screening. So I did put that in as proposed, but I'm happy to plant some evergreens, and I think it would look good to put a few scattered. I don't want to cover the entire fence. It's 110 feet. It's
Okay,
the
so
L
the
shape.
drawing isn't correct then, because the way, that's why I asked the question. 'cause
That was
the
just...
drawing has
Yeah, it was added in as I submitted it, and I was told that would help you. But if I don't have to do that, I don't want to have to screen the entire fence. I think it looks great the way it is. I'm happy to plant some greenery, evergreens.
So you really, so let me just help you maybe with the wording.
Yeah.
I like words. Rather than screen it, you want to soften the look
Sure,
of the fence.
yes.
Soften it so that, and then I did hear you're going to stain it?
I was
Would help.
going to stain it with a transparent stain just to darken it so that it would blend in better with the landscape. So,
Okay.
it's new, so it does stick out, and it's like, whoa, you see this.
It does. It's
Right.
visually impactful. Yeah.
It is, but I think, with staining it darker and with some green, it would definitely soften it and kind of blend in better, and I think it would look really good.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have questions about the fence or what I've sort of elicited in my questions? Is everyone smiling? Are you good? Everyone good or no?
Are you?
Am I good? Well, I think we're on the right track. I guess at first I wanted it screened. If it's a darker color, and there's I don't know if we have to specify a number, but I'd say if it's a softened look, I would be okay with it. Would be my feeling.
The screening in the front,
Might need, yeah, that might be, yeah, maybe that's a good compromise.
It's
to
a fence
Jocelyn.
that's replacing a fence that wasn't screened before.
It's a wall, correct.
Right, or wall that was.
well,
But
with a
the-
wall, and that's a little different.
Right.
Because it was painted white,
Kind of matched the house.
and it matched the house, whereas the fence now is wood, which is in contrast to the house. I mean, it's
Well,
pretty.
the house now has a lot of black details. All the horizontal railing that's in the back along the deck is now all black. All the trim is black, so it would, I feel like staining it darker would blend in better with the house. It would match.
Well,
Well, what about the screening in the front there?
Well, that's what I was thinking, is the screening in the front is, to me, is more important,
And then soften the side?
which is.
I
where
can
the
do
neighbors
that.
say-
Green in front and soft on the side?
Yeah.
Does that work? And then the
Yes.
staining? All right,
Yes.
I think we've got consensus. Well done. Okay. Who would like to make the motion?
I'll take it then.
Okay.
All right, so.
Thank you for your cooperation. It's much appreciated in this month of December.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So I'll start with the permission request first. In regards to the appeal at 6895 Cedar Brook Drive for the accessory structure of a fence, I move that the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with Section 42-7.6 standards because the accessory structure should be harmonious to the neighborhood, given that it will be screened and softened, and that adjacent neighbors have also embraced the fence. In terms of the dimensional variance to the appeal at the same location at 6895 Cedar Brook Drive for the fence, I also move that the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty. Because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome. Basically because without the fence, it would prevent the reasonable use of the pool, so you do have to have a fence. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors. For one, we have adjoining neighbors here who have approved of the fence and embraced it, said it's actually an improvement, and it will be screened. Unique circumstances of the property. Well, it does have the slope and topography, which requires the fence to be at a different height. And because of that, it is not self-created. So if approved, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days. Finished side of the fence must face the exterior. And additional evergreen plantings, which we talked about in the front, to screen the fence from public view, and screening to soften it on the rest of the exterior. And this greening must exceed the height of the fence at the time of planting for 12 months of the year.
Support.
So I have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, request is granted.
you.
Thank you for your cooperation. So calling the next item, item 1, 603 Hupcross. The applicant ready? The applicant here? 603 Hupcross.
Looks like he's walking in.
Floats right in.
Are you 603 Hupcross?
I am 603 Hupcross.
Hey, great.
Timing.
Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Great.
to meet you.
So you give
So-
name and address? Name and
Yeah,
address?
so Neil Summerman from 603 Hupcross.
Okay. Could you summarize what it is you need from us? What?
Yes, so tonight I'm in search of a variance for the placement of a generator. We need a variance due to the fact that there is nowhere, we're unable to, there's nowhere in the back of our house to place a generator, unfortunately. So we need a side lot variance for the north front corner of our home due to the fact that just because of the laws regarding placement in the back, there's not enough clearance from the windows in the back of the house, and there's all hardscape in the actual rear of the home.
And you're going to have screening around it?
We're going to adhere to all the township regulations with regards to noise and screening, yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? Oh, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Weisenborn, representing Bloomfield Village Association. Our board did review this. Neil is correct, the lot is very tight. I think the house is only set back maybe 10 feet from the lot line. There's no room on the left side, so you end up with the generator on the right. We approved this with the requirement that it be fully and completely screened with evergreens. There is some shade there, and so Neil has agreed that we'll carefully select the evergreens to make sure that they will thrive in the shade. And we do recommend approval by this board of the variance requested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to speak on this item? Close public hearing, bring it back to the board for a motion.
I can make a motion.
Thank you.
In regard to the appeal at 603 Hub Cross Drive for the location and variance for the generator, I move the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all the standards for practical difficulty because compliance with a strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because of the placement being the fact that there's windows on the back of the house and a tight lot line. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by reason of the fact that it'll be screened 12 months out of the year and it will be covered so no one can see it from public view. Unique circumstances with the property have been demonstrated given the fact of the site and the tight site and the garage and the deck on the back of the house, and this is not self-created. If approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits made within 1 year for the generator, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. And additional evergreen plantings shall be required to screen the generator from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the generator at the time of planting 12 months out of the year.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted. Calling the next item, item 2, 5051 Kensington Road. Is the applicant ready?
Hi, I'm John Haddad from Clear Choice Custom Decks. I'm in representation of James Vogel from 5051 Kensington Road.
Okay, summarize what you need.
So currently he's got a concrete patio or like front porch that goes out about 6 feet. You don't need a variance for that. But he wants to switch to a deck. And I think he'd need a 6-foot variance to go 7 feet out from his house. Because right now you can only go 1 foot for any permanent structure.
Okay. Any questions from the board? So it's non-conforming, he's coming out. We kind of see this quite often. So I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item?
Thanks.
Close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for questions.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Okay, with regard to the appeal at 5051 Kensington Road for the dimensional variance, I move that this variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all the standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the fact that it prevents reasonable use of the property. There is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that it is consistent with homes in the area. Unique circumstances with the property have been demonstrated due to the fact that this is an existing porch and is just simply being slightly expanded, and this is not self-created. So if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 5 business days. It says for the gazebo. Andrea?
I'm sorry?
It says for the gazebo, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction.
That must have been a typo, I'm sorry.
The porch.
It's a porch. Yeah.
Front porch, yeah.
Okay. Yes. For the porch, and all
Yes.
permits must be obtained prior to construction. And that's the end of my motion.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion?
3 times.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to just make sure I wasn't missing
Yeah.
anything.
No, I
Yeah, no,
appreciate
that's
that.
good.
I appreciate it too, thank
It's
you.
better to check. Caution. Good. So we're calling item 3, 1767 Sunset. Is the applicant ready?
How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. 1767 Sunset, Nick Shango. Would you like me to explain?
Yeah, if you could summarize what you're doing and...
So, you're Andrea, right? Andrea, how are you? How you doing? So we have this lot's tricky. The back is the side, and the side is the rear. So the first request is the 17 by 17 patio. Due to the outdoor storage underneath the main porch, we've kind of, I wouldn't call it a separate structure. I'd call it a extended off of the main structure. But since there's a hollow room underneath, we had to build that raised porch. But it is still attached to the house. So that's how we view that situation. The second one, the pool, that is, we were told by the association they didn't mind how far back we go. Again, the rear and the you would think it is the lake, but it is not. It is the side. So Andrea helped me out with that on this notion. So that's where we had a little bit of a misunderstanding. So and then the third item is the mechanical equipment. I would also call that a extension of the utilities, since you're allowed 16 feet on the side yard. We're gonna address it up, give it limestone, give it coping, and we're gonna buffer it with trees so that it complements the neighbor. You know, she has a nice house over there. We're gonna screen that side anyways, but that'll hide your pool equipment, and you can't go next to the house because it's too far from the pool. So the pool installer, North Star Pools, he won't put it far away from the pool itself. So hopefully I explained that good. But if you have any questions, I can clear it up for you.
So just to help the board, that dotted pink line is the setback.
Yes.
And then you can see that section of the pool is what is encroaching or going into the setback. It's that little corner there.
Can I take a time out 1 second?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I drew, on my drawing, I drew 40. See, but when I submitted it, for that 5 feet goes into that area. Should I just retract that and make that a 35?
No, I think we should just go with what we have on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you?
The side yard setback.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the 5 foot encroaching on that red line.
Okay. Any other questions from the board about the patio or the pool or the mechanical equipment? What was presented? Any questions?
So what we have here is what we're approving, the 17 by 7, hang on here.
Correct.
Or 5 feet, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's three requests. Good. So I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? Anyone in the public? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll start with the, oh wait, am I looking at the, hold on 1 second here.
Yeah, so this is item 3.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, I'll start with the permission request first. In regards to the appeal at 1767 Sunset Drive for the accessory structures of the screening wall and raised patio, I move that the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with Section 42-7.6 standards. Because the accessory structure should be harmonious to the neighborhood, given that a wall and raised patios are very common, and it also should not be objectionable because it will be screened from public view. In terms of the dimensional variance at 1767 Sunset Drive, in reference to the proposed pool and patio located in the side yard, and the pool encroaching 5 feet into the 16 feet required setback, and the pool equipment not immediately adjacent to the house. I move that the motion for dimensional variance also be approved in regards to the appeal at the same address. I move that the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty. Because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome, because without the, well, actually, I would say the unique shape of the lot where this equipment is, it's kind of on the side. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors because it will be screened. The unique circumstances of the property, again, the unique size of the lot and shape of the lot, and because of that, it is not self-created. With that said, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year for the proposed accessory structure, mechanical equipment, and fence, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. The finished side of the fence must face the exterior, and additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the accessory structures, mechanical equipment, and fence from public view, and must meet or exceed the height of the fence or the structure at the time of planting for 12 months of the year.
Support?
I have motion and support. Any discussion? Thank you, that was a very well done motion. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, have a good one.
Have a good day. So item 4, 3327 Dogwood was postponed, and so was item 5, 1718 Gulf Ridge. So we're now on to item 6, 7019 Franklin. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening. My name is Matt Mosier, representing homeowners at 7019 Franklin Road. We're before you tonight to request the approval of a driveway gate. This is a fairly unique property in the fact that there's a complete buffer from the main road that's completely screened. So normally when we bring the gates to you guys, we're always obviously thinking about scale and proportion from public view. But in this case, there's no public view, and when that's the case, we try to design to proper scale. So in this case, we think that both from a scale perspective and a little bit of added safety, we've got this gate designed at 5 feet with a couple 6-foot piers. It should also be noted that the house is at the end of the road, so really it's only the homeowner that is going to see this. And therefore, we think it's an appropriate request. And the reason we need the gate is we're right on Franklin Road, in between the little median there in this new development. And obviously, that's a busy road, and people tend to venture into things. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions from the board? So we got 6-foot piers and a 5-foot fence.
Right.
They are not illuminated?
Not illuminated.
Not illuminated, okay.
I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to speak on this item? Close public hearing, bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
So with regard to the permission request, with the appeal at 7019 Franklin Road for the accessory structure being the required, request is required for piers and gates, I move that the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as it provides for security and is not visible to the public. And then additionally, with regard to the appeal for the dimensional variance required for the piers and gates located in the front yard, I move that this variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the unique setback from the road. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by reason that it is not visible and is essentially screened due to the location. This is a unique circumstance with the property as demonstrated, and the layout of the property is unique, and this is not self-created. So if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the piers from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the piers at the time of planting. No illumination on the piers is permitted, and a hold harmless must be filed with the township for the driveway gate.
Support. I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, request is granted. Thank you for that motion. Item 7, 3060 Berkshire. Is the applicant ready?
My name is Mary Novak, and I live at 3060 Berkshire Road. And I'm seeking the approval to replace an existing wooden fence that's been there about 23 years and is literally falling apart right now. And I want to replace it with a 4-foot-high black aluminum fence, which has been approved by our HOA. And I did seek a variance of 4 feet on one side.
Because it's encroaching into the side yard setback, so that's what the 4-foot variance is for.
Volume closure.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Yes.
Okay.
So the fence is being located exactly where the old fence was in every
Yes,
respect?
it's replacing an existing fence.
Okay,
yes.
great.
And it's 4 feet.
And it's 4 feet.
That's good. We like the 4 feet fence. So I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? So let the gentleman give you
My
some-
name is Mike Smith, and I live at 3571 Berkshire Drive, and I'm here representing the Architectural Control Committee of Westchester Village. And we did approve this project, feeling that it would be an improvement in appearance in getting rid of that high wood fence is a barrier, and it would improve the appearance of the property. So we did approve the fence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? All right, then I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion. Oh, okay. I'll start with the permission request first. For a motion to approve the permission request in regards to the appeal at 3060 Berkshire Road for the accessory structure of a proposed dog enclosure fence. I move that the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with Section 42-7.6 standards because the accessory structure shall be harmonious to the neighborhood as well as not objectionable to nearby residents. For the one, it's a replacement of a fence that was there, and it's an improvement from what we hear, and it also has the support of the association as well. In reference to the dimensional variance at the same location, I also move that that be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty. Because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome, which without the fence, obviously, I assume that the resident has a dog, so you do need to have the fence. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors because the fence will be screened, which will be part of my motion, as well as it does have the support of the association. Unique circumstances with the property. The uniqueness is that it had a dilapidated fence that needed to be replaced, and this is going to be an improvement, and because of that, it is not self-created. So with that said, if approved, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year for the proposed fence, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the fence from public view, and plantings must meet or exceed the height of the fence at the time of installation for 12 months of the year. And the finished side of the fence must face the exterior.
Support. A motion and support. Any discussion? So you're aware of the screening requirement for the fence?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted. Thank you very much. Calling the next item, item 8, 7403 Lindemere.
Should read it.
The applicant ready.
Hello, Jeremy Griffiths with Expressive Architecture. We're representing the owner. So the project is, there's a roof extension that we're were approved through the building department. It's currently under construction. That's going to extend west from the existing part of the house.
You can use a pointer if you want.
Oh, thank you. So I believe in our opinion, we're building an allowable addition to the house. We're not encroaching on any setbacks. The question came up if this was a fence or a wall. In my definition, it's a wall. It's just extending the architecture of the addition. But the height is, we're here today to request the tall height that you see, which is 8'2" from the floor of the patio to the top of the frame of the doors there. Those are pivot doors, so they're supported from the floor and from the structure above. They're not hinged like typical doors. And the owner of the house requested that the walls match the height of the doors. So the roof structure is the allowable height. We're within our allowable setbacks, not too much lot coverage, anything like that. Just requesting the height of the screen wall to be 8'2" above the floor of the house. It's about plus or minus 9 foot above grade.
And what's the material of the wall and the door?
So the finished material of the wall is a smooth concrete finish over concrete masonry block. That'll be finished on all sides. It's intended to be natural concrete color. And the door is a metal painted red. Pivot doors. Bauhaus red is the exact color selected by the
So when
owner.
you say it's a natural concrete color, it's going to be a gray. It's just sort of the, like the sidewalk color or driveway color.
That's the goal.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
And this is on the side of the house?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about just under 20 feet wide, extending from the side of the existing garage.
You can see it from Lindemer there. So when you're looking from Lindemer, you're going to see that red door and then this concrete wall.
You can't. The site is heavily treed. You can't really see it, but
Do you have a picture
there's
of
a
it from the
possibility to
side?
see it. It is 77 feet back from Lindenmere, from the property line on Lindenmere, so it's about closer to 90 feet from
We do
the
have a
road.
picture in our correspondence package.
The pictures are a good representation. You can barely see the right side there, the west side. It's heavily treed.
Okay, any other questions from the board? We got quite a few letters about this in our packet. I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone like to comment on this item? Yep. You could step up and give your name and address.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ken Yeasting, live at 7419 Lindemer Drive. Looking at the upper left picture there, we're the neighbor to the immediate right. And we also own the lot that's behind his house. So could you bring up this? This is not a...
Oh, yeah, sure. Is it one of these that's on the
Yeah,
screen
it's
currently?
not quite. That's
Okay,
from
that's
the
fine.
back. I
No
wanted
problem.
one from the front.
No problem. No problem.
Oh, yeah, that's the front. That's the view of the front.
Yeah, this was part of the original permit application that was sent to us as part of the initial review by the homeowners association. There's been one change. The wall to the left of the gates has been increased in height to match the gates. As we look at this, the architecture of the pergola, the walls and the gate are inconsistent with anything and not harmonious with anything in our subdivision. It looks like an add-on. Whoops. I want to bring up the picture of the gate again. Yeah, this is the picture you saw earlier. This is looking up the driveway from Lindemer. Our house is on the right. As you can see, it's made of uncovered steel beams that are almost 2 foot in height at the top. gray in color, and then the bright red gates. We think, again, it's not consistent with this. Any houses in the subdivision, which are most houses are 60s build type houses. Our house is a colonial next door. The owner's house is a ranch house. It, to us, looks more from the road like a carport than a covered patio or a covered pergola. Those gates are wide enough, the ceiling's high enough in there that you could drive almost any vehicle in there, car, truck, motorhome, whatever. And in terms of height, you can't really see it very well, but there's about a 3-foot long ramp that's about a foot in height that goes from the existing driveway up to the entrance to the gates. So taking that into account, the total height, as is stated in the notice, is about 9 foot high. The only other issue that we really have with this project is that the screenings that were planted from about where that gate structure is back towards Lindenmere Drive were planted encroaching on our property. In some cases, some of them are overhanging almost a foot into our property, and we would like to have them either moved, removed, or trimmed. That's my comments.
Thank you. Want these back?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for your
Very much. Does
consideration.
anyone else like to speak on this item? Yes. If you could come up and give your name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Brian Rabondo. I live at 7385 Lindenmere. I'm the house immediately east of 7403. And at the risk of alienating my neighbor, I'm not in favor of this new structure. I was at home the other day when a gigantic truck pulled up and unloaded steel. It didn't look like an addition that was going on a house. It looked like they were going to maybe build a school. That's the size and the massiveness of those beams. And as Ken said, it's really out of character with the neighborhood. Our neighborhood, I think, was mostly built in the 60s and 70s. A few homes at the beginning of Lindenmere were built maybe since I've been there, so probably in the early 2000s. And they're not the same architecture, but it blends in. That structure, although you can tell it's been professionally created and designed, it's sort of like you wake up in the morning and you find out that there's an Amazon warehouse that's being built next to your property. It's gigantic in scale. And I heard a distinction about that it wasn't an addition, it was a wall. Aren't walls supposed to be limited to 6 feet? Those doors are more like 9 or 10 feet. Although I'm right next door, I didn't really know what was going on because from my property, I can't see, I can just see a little bit of the construction site, but it looked like something really massive. And it wasn't until I got Ken's letter of his concerns yesterday that I saw what was going on. So I think it's just out of character with the neighborhood. I think it would be shocking to see if you drove in our neighborhood, suddenly you would go, oh my God, what's that? You know, what's going on? So those are my comments.
Thanks very much. Is anyone else like to speak on this item? All right, so we'll close the public hearing and have the The applicant like to respond to any of the comments?
A few clarifications. The steel beams along the exterior are 1'4" tall. The existing house, trim, rake and eave, 6 inches plus 8 inches, so 1'2". We're 1'4". I mean, it's not 2 foot tall. The total height is about 11'4" off the floor of the patio, which matches the floor of the house, so 12'4", shorter than the existing house. The gable of the existing house is about, I would say, 15 feet tall, so this is a few feet shorter. So it's not as massive as was described, I guess is an important clarification. It's very open. It's a mid-century modern style roof extension. It's a mid-century ranch house. They want a more mid-century modern vibe to their house. So this extends to the side. The entire rear of the house is changing dramatically. It's going to be all glass. There's an amazing view in the rear yard. It's a valley. The river's down below, heavily treed. So took the original house that had multiple floor levels. There was an enclosed porch. We straightened everything up. We have a nice clean line of glass all along the back of the wall. Raised the floor level up. There's a large living dining space in there. This is an extension of the living dining to an outdoor type of a space. It's not going to be a carport at all, but there is a good point. It is large enough for vehicles to get to the backyard. One of the reasons being there's a heavy amount of landscaping along the western property line to screen the neighbors, to screen the owner's use of his backyard, and there's nowhere to drive equipment to the backyard. There's a septic tank back there, lawn equipment, things like that. So because the house is existing and it's very, I guess, as close as it could be to the eastern property line, and the air conditioner and things were existing on that side, there's no way to get around the house to the backyard except through the addition. So these doors are dual purpose. They're entrance doors for guests, for visiting this nice weather, and they're for the occasional lawn equipment. It's not a carport.
So if lawn equipment goes through there, what's the floor made of?
It's a concrete patio. And the size of the roof covering it's about 800 square feet. The total patio is about 1,700 square feet. Wraps around the rear of the property. There's very large existing trees at the back of the house. You can see the curve cut out of the property there. There's a, I don't know, 4-foot diameter tree right there. So the patio is reduced to limit the potential damage to the tree roots in there. So some of the living space is moved over to the west side, covered, and then there's the uncovered space on the south side, rear yard.
I have a question. The pergola aspect of it, do the beams join?
There's not. Thank you. It's not a pergola at all. It's a roof. It's a solid roof.
Oh.
The pergola is open. Beams
so does
open.
It connect to the home?
Yeah. It's actually because it is an approved building permit. It's currently under construction. The steel is installed right on that western wall of the living room right now.
So this is really...
The steel stretches out.
Okay, can you show me a picture of that?
Yeah.
Or just show our board?
So this is looking from the southwest towards the street. Existing garage would be to the left right there.
Is this what we're approving? Okay.
I don't believe we're discussing the approval of the roof. I believe we're just talking about
this is the view.
The wall.
That's part of the view, but this is the...
The roof is approved.
Right.
So
I got... Go ahead.
my question for the township, if this is an approved building permit, what are we being asked to do if the building permit's already been provided?
Specifically, you're being asked to look at the privacy wall and the steel gate. The reference to the covered canopy or covered pergola is not really relevant, in as much as this is a continuation of the residence, the roof structure, and it is tied to the structural frame of the of the residents, so that is why there's an active building permit.
Correct.
So the gate is in question?
Yeah,
The gate and the doors.
The red door
Well, I mean,
gate.
The height of the wall.
The doors and the wall.
And the wall.
The height of the wall,
It's been
the gate and the door.
extended.
Yes.
Now we're filling in the area beneath that extension with the red doors and then the concrete wall. So that's what we're being asked to approve.
It's connected to the house, so it's an addition to the house, actually.
Correct.
So,
That part's been approved.
The roof.
We're just discussing the walls and the
That window is?
doors.
Exactly.
So where do the
the red
walls
doors going?
go from this picture? Where are the walls that we're,
So this is a slightly zoomed out view. So the dark brown is the existing garage. The wall is going to start just to the left of that, extend towards the west. There's about a 7'7" portion there, and then the gates are about 9'10" in width, and they're pivot gates, so the clear openings is less than the overall because the pivot sits inside of the edge of the door and the door spins. So it'd be just to the white space on the left of this photo.
So that wall there is made of what material?
Which one?
The one that's got the
Tyvek on it?
Tyvek on it. So, because you talked about concrete, so is
That's
this
gonna
going
be
to be a concrete facing that goes over that?
So the portion, the
Could you
dark
maybe
brown.
use a pointer? Maybe
Yeah.
give 'em a pointer.
Yep, absolutely.
I will.
And this is
This is- this is existing painted
portion
brick.
that faces the street, Linden?
This is standing in the backyard looking towards the street. This is existing painted brick. This small area here will be brick, and then they're gonna face that with that same smooth concrete stucco finish. And then the remainder, because they're narrow widths, this is gonna be wrapped in the same dark metal to match
We're
the.
not approving, we're not discussing this.
Now, do you have another elevation?
I guess just for background.
Yeah, I think this elevation might be confusing. Can you show from the street, a street view?
Yeah, I like the street view.
The drawing or the.
Well, I guess do you have
What's
what
there?
it looks like today from the street?
In our packet, there's a view
Yeah, it's in the packet.
before the,
That one.
this is an addition,
Construction.
though. Can't the walls be anything? Yeah, I agree that this is not harmonious to the neighborhood, but if it's connected to the house, the walls could be anything, can't they, on an addition?
No, in this instance, like as you're describing, you're talking about the wall, which is actually separate from the steel framing, because it's a roofed-over steel addition, frame addition. So it's the red gate, if you will, and that wall, which is what's being called out as the accessory structures.
But it's still connected to the house.
Correct.
I agree. That was our understanding, because it's underneath
Yeah.
the approved roof, which is within the allowable setbacks. It's connected to the house. It's connected to the foundation. It's not a fence. It's structural.
The wall, we're calling
It
it.
stops short visually to make the roof appear like it's floating and appear lighter.
couple questions, if you don't mind.
Yep.
It appears in this picture that the wall is higher than the sketch earlier.
Right, he said that.
Well, the one that the neighbor presented,
Yeah.
Do you have that? I mean, is that what was approved with the house, I guess, but this is a,
no, that's what was submitted.
Yeah.
And then we removed the wall and the gate. We got approved for just the roof structure and all the interior renovations. I do have,
right? So you were approved for the roof structure, the interior renovations. Now we're, like, again, we're just emphasizing that we're
I do have the
discussing
elevation.
the wall and the door. So I just wanted to see,
Here's the approved elevation.
It's connected to the house, it's an addition.
This again is the front of the garage. This is the roof without the wall and the gate. And this is the proposed, well, the rendering.
Okay with what was permitted.
Same roof, same columns. There's the wall here is slightly in front of the columns. It's 1'3" in front of the columns, so the wall returns back And then the gate, sorry, there's a slight return here. The gates in this piece of the wall are in the same line, which is just back from the front of the,
Thank you for your explanation. I appreciate that. I'm just confused with I'm having a hard time with the height of the wall, the color of the wall, the color of the doors, the height of the doors as a wall or a fence. I'm just going to be honest with you with that. I don't know how other members feel, so, I'm willing to work with what's going on here.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm looking at, but I'm a little confused because the other rendering that he showed, that was approved with the walls and the roof. So
I'm sorry.
does this go on?
The one that the public showed?
No.
Permit, what the township has approved, given the permit for.
Right, the one that we looked at that you was confusing us because of the elevation, and then the one that we were looking at before that shows the walls with the wrapping around it and the roof. You know what photo I'm talking about?
Oh, sorry. This again.
But that was from the back.
Right, from the back.
This is
no, not this one.
this is the approved building permit.
It was
So there were no walls before, it was just an open
No walls,
pergola.
no doors.
Correct. We wanted to build walls and doors. We were told that we needed a variance, and we're here today to seek that variance.
Exactly.
I was debating why we weren't just part of the structure, why it wasn't part of the house, because in my mind it was.
I guess that's
That's what I'm confused about. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go finish, because I've already made my point.
And anybody help me, but if it's part of the house, but yet it's wide open, I guess I'm confused of what's behind this wall. When the door is open, what's in there?
A pretty amazing view of a valley and trees and outdoor
So
space.
it's just an open area that's
It's just a
fenced in.
concrete floor, right?
It's a
I mean,
concrete floor.
it's a large L-shaped patio that
As clarification, I think we need to view it as a fence and a gate or a door.
Yeah.
And I think the problem I'm having is that it's very, very tall and bright. And
Right.
as far as fences go, we encourage screening and softening and,
Right.
everything that we have discussed earlier in the night.
Well,
It's just my
I
opinion.
think because you need to move equipment through it, it's not just a patio, so it's also right. So because of that, you've got rather large doors. I don't know why they're red, but there's another. It's a dual purpose to it.
Why would you need doors, though?
That high.
He wants to move the equipment through it.
Yeah, no, but why
But you
does
could
it
do
have
that without doors.
Privacy.
Right.
Because we approved a structure without doors. Why, what do we need the doors for? Why wasn't that asked
it's for the privacy of the patio. It's for the privacy of the patio.
Sit on the patio and have some privacy.
The door. Do you need the doors? No.
Screening in front of it.
It's a feature. It's a guests walk up. It's a reveal, conceal and reveal.
Was that requested when you asked for the permit?
Yes.
You were requesting the doors and the walls,
Correct.
and we did not provide that permit.
Well,
No,
you can't.
that's-
We
We're here for variance
withdrew
today.
our
do you think-
request.
You think you could lower the height of the walls and change the color of the door?
Right.
Are we discussing the color of the doors as part of this body? I guess I didn't know we were talking about aesthetics
Absolutely.
exclusively. Okay.
Absolutely we are.
If that is, then I'll relay that message to.
I guess my only point is
homeowner.
that, my experience with the board is that we encourage fences, and I'm going to include the door as part of the fence because you could call it, a larger gate, if
Right.
you want to say that, to be screened from public view. And
I agree. There's.
it's been presented
the
as
driveway.
a wall.
Yeah, so you don't want to have to do that because you got a driveway. So that's what I'm saying. I think if you work with us on the color and the height.
Okay, just let it fade in the background.
What's that?
Let the architecture fade into the background. Not
Because it's a
be so
a
bright.
gate and a fence.
Yep,
Yes.
it's a gate
It's
and a
not-
fence. I mean, we're looking at it as a gate and a fence.
Yeah.
And it should be harmonious with the house and the neighborhood.
Or at least
This
screened
doesn't
from
look
public
like,
view.
this doesn't
but we
look in
can
any
work
way
with
like
you.
it's harmonious with the house or the neighborhood. This looks like we took a 21st century structure and latched it onto a 60s building.
It's a 50s house and a 50s architecture. Yes, they're
What kind
both.
of 50s was that?
Okay.
Well, it's a 50s ranch house and it's a mid-century
appreciate the
modern design.
But as a fence and a gate, it's not screened from public view. I just have a problem with that. I'm looking at it solely as it's presented as a fence and a gate. And as you've heard earlier, our board typically encourages screening, softening from public view.
Yeah, we have a ton of screening on the entire western property line.
It's a very bright wall.
In the height, also what
So,
Does that screening meet or exceed the height of the wall
yeah, it's...
at time of planting?
Well, it's all mostly existing. There's, I don't know, it's 25 feet tall.
Okay, but that's just what we would require. So, and I think other members of the board have asked if you're willing to make some adjustments, because obviously at the end of your driveway, you need to utilize that gate.
Yes. Yeah, I think we'd be willing to change the color. How do we go about getting approval of the color? Can we do that administratively?
I'm not sure if that's really the biggest concern at this point. Do you guys want to jump in at all? I mean, if I am off base,
No.
feel free to chime in with your own
So what about the
ideas.
height of why does it need to be that high? Can you lower the wall?
So the doors need to be this tall because of them being a pivot door that's supported by the horizontal beam across
It's
the top.
a gate.
They're doors. They're the same as the entry doors on the house. So the wall, I would be willing to match the wall height, the height of the existing brick of the garage, which is 6 foot 2, which was the other design that was
Okay.
shown by the public tonight.
Sounds like an improvement.
If we could keep the doors, the header height on the doors is the important part, and the owner just really wants this style of door versus a gate with hinges on the walls. So the pivot architecture is the
It
important.
could be any height with a pivot. It could
It could be taller. Yeah.
be shorter than that.
It'd be shorter.
I think we should have them.
So,
And why the pivot prevents you from making it shorter?
It doesn't.
oh, the solid part of the door. Yes. I mean the solid part of the door. So 6 foot 2 on the wall, and if the gates match, the walls, the doors match, everything at 6 foot 2 is what you're suggesting?
Well, you suggested it, so
Patty, is this something where we're kind of now not approving what is presented?
well, no, he's
Should
going
they-
for less. So
Yes, and you can
You can approve it for
take
less.
action for something that is less than has been noticed.
Okay, all right, less, yeah. Thank you.
it seems like it needs to be I guess a dark or a neutral color. I mean,
We do reference neutral colors often,
colors, yeah.
which could be the tans, the browns, the
Can
dark
we do that with
greens,
fences?
the fences, so you can approach it in a very similar fashion, or gray.
Dark gray.
Dark gray? Yeah, neutral.
Yeah, we're asking for a white steel, gray concrete, and a more neutral color than Bauhaus red. The existing house is dark brown, so it's in the same
Right.
visual heft as the red,
Yep.
we thought. So, yeah. So, I really prefer the doors to be the height requested. If you're saying that's not going to happen, we would agree to 6 foot 2 on the wall and the doors matching the existing height of the brick in the
Dark and
house.
neutral colors.
Yes, sounds,
All of them, dark and neutral colors?
Yep, the wall and the doors.
Not red?
Can I make another comment here?
No, the public hearing's closed. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Anybody else have any, I think, I'm okay with that. Not okay? Because here's the other thing. I mean, so maybe we don't have a full board here. We can also postpone this so that you have two other, people to look at this. But I'd say at least with this, I don't know if you're going to get the 4 votes. So I would be okay with 6-2 dark or neutral colors across. I don't know how anybody else feels, but we could make someone can. I can't make a motion.
How do other people feel?
I think it should be tabled and it should be redrawn to what they want to use. So we can see what it looks like, because it's going to look high when the doors get shorter. You're going to see more of the beam, and it's going to be more open. it's going to look different than what they're presenting here tonight.
That's a fair point. And then you have a benefit of the full board.
And you can show 'em the color, the different color, and we can see what it looks like.
I agree.
If it helps you, I can show you the height without the color, which is the image that was presented earlier.
Well, I guess what I'm suggesting to you is, my feeling is you don't have the votes you need to get an approval. So you can risk a denial, or you can come back when we have 7 people here, where you might have
Okay.
better.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
I think we'll agree with that.
Would you like to do that? So,
Yes.
you're going to make a motion to postpone then? Was this helpful feedback to you then?
Yeah, very helpful, very helpful.
I'll make a motion to postpone this item.
Okay.
Support.
So I have motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The item's postponed, and you've got your feedback.
Thank you.
Work with our department.
Thank you for your feedback.
All right, let's go with the next item. Item 9,
Train wreck.
4865 Inkster Road. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening.
Sorry.
Good evening.
Ooh. I am the owner of 4865 Inkster Road. I am petitioning I'm building a new house on that vacant lot, and I'm petitioning to put the driveway where the existing one used to be on that lot where there was an existing structure. I have many challenges on this lot. First of all, I can't put it on the north side because this is where Inkster Road ends and it turns into Lone Pine on the north end, okay? The closer I get to the north end, the more dangerous it is because of the cars coming eastbound on Lone Pine. You know, they're doing 40, 50 miles an hour, and, you know, if somebody's not paying attention, it could be a...
Well, maybe I can help you. You're just trying to repair an existing driveway, and you've got to encroach into the natural features setback to do
Correct.
that.
Yep.
So, okay, I mean, I think it's actually, your driveway's in such a state that you got to fix it, and you can't fix it without going into the natural features. So you're going to get a variance to do that.
Correct.
Okay, so any questions on that? So I'll open this to public hearing. Anyone like to comment on this item? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I
That's
just...
okay. No.
I thought I'd help you out there.
I do have another request, if I may.
I hope it was noticed, otherwise...
Okay. No, well, no, I just wanted to bring it up for the natural feature out there. That's an existing ditch that is overgrown. And currently, the county had come out in front on Inkster Road and cleaned out the ditch because it was...
You can show your picture if you want to.
Can I put them in there?
Yeah, show it.
So they, the county cleaned out the ditch in the front, but, so my whole southern property is that natural feature, which is an existing ditch that is overgrown. And I can imagine that, you know, with it being overgrown like that, it causes flooding issues north of there. I would like to propose to be able to clean that up and beautify that ditch instead of having all those overgrown.
There's a list of I've learned this being on the zone, there's a list of native plantings that you're permitted to plant in a natural feature setback, and you'll have to comply with that. So,
Sure.
And for all those reasons, it'll help with the drainage, it'll help, you know, so that's, you know, it'll help your neighbors, so.
Sure, I'm willing to comply with all the
So this is a
plantings
positive then for the...
Pardon?
It's a positive event for the natural feature setback, it sounds like, and based on...
Yeah, absolutely. For me to clean up that ditch, it would definitely be a positive because I had a guy there in a heavy rainfall, and it was all flooded.
So you'll get something extra for Santa for the extra work you're
Perfect timing.
But just as a note, because if it's in the right-of-way, there will be a right-of-way permit that you'd have to apply for. If it's on private property, there's a natural features setback permit that you'd have, or natural features permit that you'd have to apply for. So
Sure.
either way, please let us know what, you know, if you'd like to make that improvement, and then we can guide you to what application.
I'm going to give you my phone number.
Excellent.
Okay, and then you and I can talk
Any
about
questions from the
how
board?
we can assist you with that. 'cause if it's
So I'll open this to the public. Does anyone would like to comment on the
Let me know before you do anything.
encroachment or the...
Thank you, Andrea. You're welcome.
So I don't... I don't get to show you guys the rest of the pictures I brought?
What's that?
I don't get to show you the rest of the pictures I brought?
No.
Okay, well,
We're making a motion.
if
We're
it
making a
means
motion.
that much to you, you can show your pictures. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're just pictures that showing how overgrown this ditch is, and
Wow.
it's
Sounds like you need to have a conversation with the county.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like, yeah.
So there is a new house going to the property next to me on the south. I would have to obviously coordinate with them because I think the ditch is the property line.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but
We can certainly assist with that.
yeah, I think I've shown you enough. I think
Well, just one more.
If you went to the time to take the pictures, and they look very professional, you've got
They do, and they've got notations over it. It's
got
very
notations
nice.
on there. Those are the best pictures I've ever seen this year.
Oh, well, very good.
Excellent work.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, go ahead and make a motion.
With regard to the dimensional variance, the appeal at 4865 Inkster Road for the dimensional variance required for the driveway and native plantings in the required 25-foot natural feature setback. I move that this variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the presence of wetlands. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by reason that it is essentially a replacement driveway. The unique circumstances of the property have been demonstrated, again, due to the placement of these wetlands and the placement of the driveway, and it is a replacement and therefore not self-created. So if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year for the proposed driveway and native plantings, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay. All right, so item 10 was postponed. We'll move on to item 11, 4627 Cimarron.
3 more.
Hello there, my name is Mustafa Saeed from Enco Builders, and I came here today to seek approval for a gate for a new construction residence that we put up.
Okay, and do the piers already exist?
Yes.
So how did that happen?
To be very honest with you, I've built a lot of houses here. This is the second time I've ever come to a variance meeting. Bob Tebow, that works at the department, he pulled up. He's like, wow, really nice piers. He's like, where's the variance? I'm like, oh, I didn't know I needed one. So
you know now. Okay, so.
I promise I will never do it again.
Okay.
It was the first time I've ever done a gate. We usually deal with kind of a smaller property. This is a little bit larger.
Okay.
And
all right, any questions from the board? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on the piers of the gate? I'll close public hearing, bring it back. Motion?
Those are 6-foot non-illuminated, correct?
They're non-illuminated?
No.
And
And they're 6 foot?
Yes.
the piers are, the gate is,
5.
5? Okay.
it's kind of interesting. It's a see-through squares.
The house that I took a picture of on the left side is like 4 houses down from me. So he has we're going to put a similar gate up. The one on the right is the actual property.
The White House in the back there, so it's quite a long driveway.
Yeah.
And that's the type of gate you're going to put there?
Correct.
All right, I think we understand. Anybody ready to make a motion? We're pushing to the finish line.
I'll make a motion. I'll start with the permission request first. I'm for a motion to approve the permission request in regards to the appeal at 4627 Cimarron Drive for the accessory structure of a gate in piers. Well, for piers and a gate. The accessory structure, the use of the accessory structure is appropriate for the neighborhood for such a size of a home. Piers and gates are very typical. In reference to the dimensional variance, I also move that be approved as requested for the same location. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome for the mere fact that the size of the lot, these types of piers and gates are practical. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors because of the homes are set back pretty far, and the unique circumstances of the property as well, which would be the existing lot size and the long driveway, which would require such piers and gate. And because of that, it is not self-created. With that said, if approved, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days for the existing piers, the pillars. Application for all necessary permits for the gate must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the piers from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the piers at the time of planting. So a lot of times we do ask that you soften those piers.
I also want to note a requirement of the hold harmless for the gates.
You also have to apply for a home harmless with the township for the gates as well.
Support.
So I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you. Is a hold harmless like a...
It's basically something you file. We can talk. It's just something you have to file.
So calling the next item, item 12, 4790 Maple.
We're not accountable for damage.
Gotcha.
Okay?
I don't know who
Exactly.
I don't
The
The
applicant.
applicant goes first.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
I thought because we sent a letter and that's why we got called to this meeting. about this.
So when I open to the public, then you would speak after the applicant presents.
Okay. Hi, my name is David Casey. I'm the homeowner at 4790 West Maple, seeking approval for our treehouse, pre-existing treehouse located at the rear of the yard, set back from our lot. You can see it's at the back end of the lot, surrounded by our old-growth trees, primarily deciduous trees. From each side of the lot, it's 150 feet from the east and the west borders, and about from the property line on the back side, about 40 feet, maybe a little less than that. But if you can see the images there, it's on a pitch. Our entire lot pitches up from Maple Road to elevation where our house is, and then it pitches up again, so you can see where the elevation dips down, and it faces towards our house at the specs you see there on the side. 6 feet by 7 feet from the ground, 6.5 feet tall, and you can see my son here for scale. So it's 12 feet by 9 feet.
Oh, no, some before.
Any questions from the board? So I'm guessing, part of the reason you're here, that's visible from the road, so there's not really no way to screen that.
It's not visible from the road. It's behind our house, if you can see. It's on the back side of the lot, and the lot faces 3 property lines. If you can see our lot there in the box. Yes. Okay. And the tree house is right where that red dot is, on the back side of the lot. So you can see where Maple is on the south side, and on the north side is our neighbor's lot.
It's visible to your neighbors then?
It is, if we could go back just to those others, it is visible. It's pitched down on the north side. It's pitched down, so the roof of it is visible to our neighbors on the north side. And then on the east side, it is not visible, and then it is about 150 feet from the west border. You can see that there on the bottom photo. That's the image from me standing at the foot of the treehouse.
So you've been here long enough, you know that screening's important, and so we consider this an accessory structure, so the challenge you've got here is screening this is going to be very difficult. Well, why don't before you say anything, why don't I open this to the public? We're going to get some comments.
I'll try to be really brief, because I know everybody's probably done for the night, right?
We only have a
Well,
copy
no,
of your letter,
we're-
too, just so you know.
Oh, okay, good.
Everything are all. Every one of them. So if you give us your
Well,
name
I
and
know how
address.
it goes, yeah. I just need to get back to my, my notes here.
Yep. Your name
My
and
name is
address.
Kathy Sparling.
Okay.
I live at 4786 Apple Grove Court. I'm here representing the Condominium Association for Apple Grove Condominiums. I'm the vice president on the board.
our president wrote the letter. She's unable to be here today because she's out of town, so I'm representing the community, basically. So if you look at the picture, I forgot your name, I'm sorry, put up there, you can see that the condominiums, you can see our addresses there, 9.
You can use the pointer if you'd like.
Oh.
You want to hold that down?
Yeah, I've never used one of these before.
Sure, you must never have had a cat.
These 4 condominiums here have visibility, primarily these 3. So that was the reason for the letter and the reason why I'm here. So I have some pictures that I took this week, just to cut to the chase, that might be helpful to see. The complaint by the community is that, you know, it's a vision they don't want to see, that they worry that it may affect
You can leave it
their
right here, actually.
property values. Well, there's 4 of them here. So
Okay, well,
you
you can do one at a time, however you want to do it.
So you can see, I'm standing at, I couldn't walk up on people's decks, but I'm standing at the very foot of their deck. So my back is leaning against the deck. And this is the site, if you can see it up there.
Yep.
Okay. So I took it from, you know, as I walked along the backyards of those 3 places. And so this is the problem. Not wanting to look at it and worried about, you know, if they try to sell their condo, is it going to be a problem for a potential buyer? And, you know, whether there's going to be a noise issue, if there's a lot of children, you know, I think tree houses are great. We just don't want to have to deal with it. So I think what we would like is it either be moved to a place where it's not in our site, or it be follow the ordinance of Bloomfield Township in screening it so that we don't have to look at it.
Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else would like to speak on this item?
Do you want these pictures?
We can keep them for the
Yeah,
record if you
please.
want.
Because I have copies.
Sure,
Those are
we can
helpful.
keep them for the record.
So we'll close the public hearing and then have the applicant respond to the comments.
Okay. Well, I mean, as you...
This is helpful. Maybe this, I don't know
No,
which
that's
one you want to
helpful.
look at.
I mean, as you can see, that's about 350 feet from, well, it's 150 feet to the, on the green from their condo, and then all of the foliage there is our property up to about 150 feet where the treehouse is. And understanding new discussions that I'm learning about in regard to screening, we're obviously perfectly fine, including evergreen screening that would obscure the treehouse from sight. I mean, the fact of the matter is my photos were taken with trees with leaves. Those are all old growth deciduous trees that we manage. And the house, you know, we stopped construction on the treehouse and fully intend on actually staining the treehouse so it masks in better with the foliage that you see there. That was always the plan. And that entire wild space that we keep there, we manage quite well, and you know, want to make sure that it's actually as beautiful as we see it, and is maintained as well.
So is there room to plant evergreen trees to screen
Absolutely.
it from public view? So
Absolutely.
It's got to be every from all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's enough room there. I mean, I'm saying, that's almost 500 feet. So against the property line there, you see where the foliage starts and the green stops. That's our property line. There's actually some old. There's an old fence there that is on our property from the original apple groves that were here on the property before it was condos. So right along that line is perfectly fine to create, you know, privacy, you know, evergreens. So that would.
So, Patty, in situations like this where it's December, planting timetable would be?
Probably by the 15th of May.
Yeah.
But what I would like, at least for the owner, to make a suggestion is if you are planting the evergreen plants, trees, on your property,
Yep.
how tall do you think those evergreen trees have to be so as to totally obscure the height of the treehouse from the residence view?
From the residence view at ground level,
Yes.
15 feet.
And it's got to be that height when you plant it. It can't be
Sure.
a future
Absolutely.
state.
No.
It's got to be the
Yeah.
day you put them in the ground.
Mhm.
So they can't, May 15th, they're not going to see it.
Yeah, I mean, May 15th into, all perpetuity, they won't
So
be
we
able to
could
see it.
have, we had an exceptionally warm March this year.
Yeah,
So I
I mean,
played golf.
it's exceptionally warm
March. I
today.
could have played golf on Sunday. So we have a global warming.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Is there a possibility to put those trees closer to the tree house?
It would actually make the treehouse more visible if it was closer. Because if you can see there, where that crest there is still our property, and the treehouse is halfway down that.
So you could plant on the grass.
Yeah, we plant closest to the grass. That way,
So the
anyone.
standard is when they plant it, it's got to be a square from brother. So you pick the spot that meets that standard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Absolutely.
understand that. Okay.
And we want to do that. I mean, we're intending on doing that anyway along that property line to create more privacy along our entire property next summer.
So are you ready for a motion? Who's got the motion?
I can
ready
make
to
a
go?
motion.
Let her rip.
Okay. In regard to the appeal at 4790 West Maple Road for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the site of the accessory structure is compatible with the adjoining properties based on where it's located, and it's appropriate to be in the position it's in because of the setbacks and the fact that it's going to be screened 12 months out of the year with evergreens will keep it out of the public view from the neighbors.
Support. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days for the tree house, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Screening, evergreen plantings will be required to screen the tree house from public view, and plantings must meet or exceed the height of the tree house at the time of installation for 12 months of the year.
Do you want to give an installation date?
May 15th?
Sounds fine. I do have one question. The condo owner at 4790 has actually created a rock garden on our property, and she's moved a bunch of boulders onto our property. If you can see them right there, those are on our property, and during the summer she puts a little sculpture there, and she's acknowledged that she's done that on our property. So we'd have to work out some situation so she can remove those boulders if I have to create some privacy on my property line.
Sounds reasonable.
Worked out with the association.
I don't know that, but I didn't know they were on the property.
I mean, that's the property line right there.
So you want
They got to be much taller.
I mean,
say what you want.
I was perfectly fine with it before. I didn't have any, I don't think the condos are an eyesore, so I think, yeah.
Yeah, so we're not able to address that. We're just addressing the.
So she had
Get a support?
So we have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Your request is granted
Okay.
with the conditions stipulated.
So why don't we just talk to her about moving?
Okay.
You want it removed or moved?
I mean, we are good neighbors.
So we're calling the last item, item 142519.
13?
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 13, jumping ahead, 2500 Maple Road. Superior Bank. Is anyone here for that item?
2500 Maple?
I bet Andrea could.
I can certainly present this one if you'd like me to.
This one we can,
Okay, so the proposal you have before you, this is the Superior Bank, which recently did some renovations. They're located at the corner of Cranbrook Road and West Maple. They did have an opportunity, their proposal for you this evening is to locate a ground-mounted mechanical in the front of the building. It does have double frontage. As you can see, the proposed location for this ground-mounted mechanical would be located here in this, in the front of the building, kind of in a niche of the building. They do provide a significant amount of landscaping that they're proposing. And also, I just want to note that this did have an opportunity to go before the Design Review Board. The Design Review Board did support this unanimously, and this is a situation where the variance is a necessity based on the location within a frontage. Happy to answer any questions.
I was surprised to note that this is part of Bloomfield Village.
Correct, it is part of Bloomfield Village, and Bloomfield Village...
I thought Kathy would stay.
She should have stayed. No, but they did, thank you for making that comment. Bloomfield Village did approve this.
I'm going to bring that up. So I'll open this for a public hearing, and I would like to comment on this item. Close the public hearing, bring it back for motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
With regard to the dimensional variance at 2500 Maple Road required for the ground-mounted mechanical unit, a generator located in the front yard, I move that this variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the fact that this is a corner lot. There is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that it is actually placed in an area that is away from residential homes and is being screened. Unique circumstances of the property have been demonstrated given the fact that, again, it has multiple frontages and this is not self-created. So if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits, must be made within 1 year, and 1 year for the generator, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. Additional evergreen plantings shall be required to screen the generator from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the generator at the time of planting.
It's actually an AC unit, but we'll note that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. There we go.
Yep.
Support.
So I have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Rest is granted. Now we're calling item 14, 2519 West Maple.
Staying in the same neck of the woods right across the street. Hi, my name's Elizabeth Cunningham.
You're right.
I am...
You're right. You're right across the street.
I am the owner of Dandelion Kids. I'm also a resident in Bloomfield Village at 281 North Glenhurst Drive. I have a lease at the old Total Tennis space right in the middle there of Maple Cranbrook Stores, and I am here to request a variance based on the fact that I'm opening a high-end children's consignment boutique, and children's consignment or any consignment falls under the regulated use category and needs to be over 750 feet away from the residential zone. And if you're familiar with that area, the back parking structure for employees backs up to the neighborhood. So I'm requesting an exception to that.
So I can't help myself. I just found this interesting as our ordinance lists a number of regulated
Oh,
uses.
yes.
So this gets thrown in
Yes.
with everything else.
Really?
Because I mean, I just pull it up on, there's tons of resale shops now. So,
Yes,
so
we're, yeah.
I'd say there used to be a stigma, right? So
Yes.
whenever we passed the ordinance, there used to be a stigma for
Yes.
resale shops. And that's really, I think, dissipated, right? So you can call it consignments
Right now.
or whatever like that. So I just thought it was
Yes.
interesting that
Yes,
you got
and
lumped
with,
in
I
everything else.
believe, tattoo parlors, massage parlors, adult bookstores, billiards, motels, yes.
So
This
if
is
you
a
look
great
at
business.
the size of the variance, it's significant, but it's really not. So I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself. Go ahead.
Open, close.
I'm done. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyone open the public hearing would like to speak on this item?
Oh, we have a taker.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is...
Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. My name is Tom Wayner, and I am the former president of the Homeowners Association for the village of, for Bloomfield Village South. And I'm here representing the Homeowners Association in this matter. And my understanding is that we were here a couple of years ago when a jeweler, a diamond club, wanted to move into this particular space. And I believe it was a regulated business, which we had no objection to, and which we supported thoroughly. And they did move in, and they're still there. And they're not adjacent to this space, but they're separated by an art frame house next to the Total Tennis, and then the art house, and then the diamond place. So the fact that it is a regulated business is not a concern of ours, as long as it is, as the young lady has stated, an upscale resale, and that the business model, the transactions which acquire the items for resale are all taking place within the structure itself, and you know, the things aren't just dropped off at the back door like the Salvation Army. We're just dandy with that. So
those are good points. Thank you.
Pardon?
Those are good points. Thank you.
Yes. Well, the other thing is that we were also here several years before that for an existing retaining fence or a privacy fence that exceeded the height of the normal regulations. And the homeowner had erected because what does happen behind that strip mall is that the pizza joint, which is right next to this other thing, has traffic in and out of there at all hours of the night, and with headlights and everything else. And the existing concrete retaining wall that holds the landscape back was not sufficient to block the light from going into his actual bedroom. So we supported him in the construction of that, which is a really nice wooden fence. So as long as these people are not going to create any more traffic in there at bedtime hours, we're fine. So
I was at that pizza place Sunday night. So
Pardon?
I was at that pizza place on Sunday night.
Oh, I like the pizza place,
my
but I
lights
tend to walk in and walk out because I live right down the street. So we're in favor of the store being installed in that space.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you again for your patience.
I did.
So I'm going to close the public hearing and then let the applicant respond to the comments.
Pardon?
You can sit down. I'm going to close the public
okay.
hearing.
Thank you.
And let the applicant respond to the comments.
So good points. Yes, I mean, I'm a member of the community as well. I spend a lot of time at Papa Romano's picking up pizza for my kids as well. So a couple things. I'm only taking clothing and accessories. I am not taking any children's or baby equipment, so nothing big. No strollers, no cribs, nothing like that. The other thing is that
Those have to be dropped off in the store.
So yes, so here's the other point. Yes, exactly. So the store is only open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and drop-offs are not allowed. I actually we'll be putting a sign on the door that says consignment by online appointment only. That's also clearly articulated on the website. You can't actually even show up with your stuff, and it does clearly articulate online and in the consignment agreement that people can't even bring in more than 50 items at a time. So maximum, people are going to be bringing in a couple shopping bags, and nothing will be left in the front or the back. I agree with you, that wouldn't be concerning, so.
Okay. So are we ready for a motion?
We are. I'll make a motion. In regards to the appeal at 2519 West Maple Road for regulated use, I move that the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because it would prevent the use of this retail space, it's actually a really good retail space to use for used children's clothing as a consignment boutique. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors, basically because it's going to be a business that's going to be run from 10 to 5, which are business hours. There's not going to be a lot of traffic in there, and there will not be any drop-offs, and everything will be done by appointment in consignment. Unique circumstances of the property, there is a unique circumstances that it's within a residential area, which makes that unique and requires a variance, and because of that, it is not self-created. If approved, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to occupation of the tenant space.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted. So could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second? All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's closed.
I do have